Okay, back here is the back of the trailer, which is also the back of the oven, and that's the oven door. And that oven door locks pretty tight. I mean, you don't want it too tight because it's only for cooking barbecue. You know, it's not like a wood stove in your house that you would line with that asbestos rope or that high temperature rope. But I put in this whole door can just that pin pops out, and the whole door pops out if you want to work comfortable. But the whole door opens up. I'll show you right now. And then these intake vents on the oven, I got 4 in there. And when Steve Reiser and I originally designed this thing, we sat down and had a couple of toddies and did the mathematical equations using the American Combustion Handbook. So we did the calculations to figure out how much air we needed to go in versus how much air was coming out of that 4-inch pipe up there. So and then you can fudge a little bit because you can open and close these valves. So this whole oven is pretty much a no-brainer. You put the meat in there and just forget about it. So I'm gonna open up that door so you can take a peek and see how it works. Okay, here you go. It's just kind of like a 45-degree angle block I put in there, and you made it tight so that it fits in there tight. Reinforce the door here, and then these vents open up like this, and you can let the amount of air go in. Now, I built these so you got to make sure that this thing's not in the way or they'll bang. But once you get it adjusted, it's not like you're going to be moving it a bunch anyway. So, you know, makes it real easy to control. You can turn them with your finger. You want to spray those with, rub lard on them or something like that before you get started, or spray olive oil or rub olive oil on those threads, and I do that with those and the ones up here too. And it closes nice and tight. Well, you can see I got a little weed burner down there, and that's just a weed burner that you use on farm, and I brought it from Montana with me. But it's pretty simple. You just start it, and I use that. I stick it inside the front door. It's got a little valve on it right there, and then you open up the tank valve and put that thing inside the front door. After you stack the wood in there and get it started, it starts pretty quick. It takes about 5 minutes, not too long. The longer you keep it in there. Plus you can use it to add extra heat or moisture to your box if you want to, by opening up this back door here and just putting it in there. I've increased my heat by up to 5 or 10 degrees fairly quickly when I'm trying to top off the meat at the end of a barbecue. You really don't need it if you time it correctly, but you can use it if you're in a hurry, if you're cooking for a bunch of people. If you're running out of time, and the reason I used it was because I needed to get the meat on the table by 12 o'clock, so it's handy. I'm going to eventually put a gas burner in this thing so I can top off the meat. Well, busy day in the neighborhood today. It's they're repaving the road, and the trash recycle and regular trash comes today. But so you can pretty much use this thing almost anywhere. It's really safe. You can shut the fire down, which is what like a fire department would want to see. So it's actually better than a barbecue that you would have at home, because if you close all the valves on this and shut all those valves, and then shut the starter valve on top, right, that one, and then close the damper on the side right here. You can't see it right there, that one right there. Then you can pretty much shut this thing completely down. So I've stacked the wood in here to where there's an opening right in the middle there. So I put 2 logs down, and then I kind of did like the Boy Scout method, where you just kind of put the logs in, you know, like crisscross, like you're stacking them, so that the air can get through it, so there's plenty of airflow. And these things will kind of adjust themselves, so you gotta make sure that there's plenty of room. Adjust these vents and get the fire started, and I'll start the fire right now. So anyway, you can adjust this thing. You can see I stack these logs to where there's an opening there, and then zigzagged them. And this top part of the grill here you can use as a stove to cook stuff with. So alright, the way I start this thing is I just turn this valve, open this valve, and then start this. Stick that in there. And I've got a water hose here handy, just in case, you know, my truck will be moved as soon as some of these cars get out of the way and Jesse gets here to help me. This valve needs to be open. Up on top, the oven valve, starter valve needs to be open. And the oven damper needs to be closed, so you don't want to get a bunch of smoke in there. So that's how you start that thing. Pretty simple. You can see the heat's coming out of this top stack right here. See that valve's open, and that damper's closed. That one needs to be closed right there. All right, con la chimenea. Okay, you can see we've been running now. I've had the fire going for about 10 minutes, and the smoke kind of cleared up a little bit. It first came out really smoky, and then this temperature gauge right here, it started out at 50, 56 or 70 or something like that, and now it's going up to 100. We want to get the temperature on top to about 220 if we can. Okay, you can see that the smoke's really cleared up here, and I've got these bottom vents open on this oven, and the oven damper's closed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the starter valve up on top here and open the damper and try and start to get the oven warm. So let me do that now, okay?